It is Guns N' Roses right here on your Classic Metal Show, doing a cover version of the Rolling Stones classic Sympathy for the Devil. And late breaking news. Boop-a-doop-boo. Whoop, woo. Whoop, woo. Axl Rose has been confirmed as the fill-in AC/DC replacement singer.
Oh, my God. I wonder if he'll come with the Foo Fighters chair.
I don't know, since he broke his foot.
What a clusterfuck, huh?
Right. Axl Rose will fill in for Brian Johnson as AC/DC resumes their Rock or Bust tour. A representative for the group confirms.
Great.
Of course, they had photos of Axl leaving the rehearsal studio down in Georgia.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago. So it's been speculated all along, but I guess it's all confirmed now.
Right.
AC/DC's European stadium stop begins on May 7th in Lisbon, Portugal, and runs through June 12th in Aarhus, Denmark. Those cities and dates are included below. Following that, Axl will head out on his previously announced summer reunion tour with Guns N' Roses, dubbed Not in This Lifetime.
Great.
AC/DC's 10 earlier postponed U.S. summer dates will also be rescheduled with Rose as the frontman.
Yeah.
Wow. He's going to be a busy boy.
Well, he's only playing 20 gigs all summer.
Well, true, but you know, fronting AC/DC and fronting Guns N' Roses.
He's playing 40 gigs.
Yeah, true.
Can handle that.
I'm sure he can. He just needs to drop a little of the weight.
Well, he looked pretty healthy in those videos that I saw of the Troubadour show.
He's still a little. He's a little Vince Neil-ish.
Is he still a little pudgy?
Yeah, he's a little pudgy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he sounded good.
So who cares, really?
He's had a year off to rest his voice.
Yeah. So as long as he sounds good, who gives a shit?
Right.
For the Guns part, for the AC/DC, I'd be demanding money back.
Sure.
$150 to get fucking the B team? No way. Absolutely not.
Johnson dropped out after news broke on March 7th that he was dealing with a serious hearing problem. Rose almost immediately became the focus of replacement rumors. He was then reportedly photographed leaving the rehearsal studio with AC/DC in late March, though nothing was confirmed by either camp. By then, Guns N' Roses had already announced a string of stops for a long-awaited tour featuring Rose and fellow co-founders Slash and Duff McKagan. AC/DC band members would like to thank Brian Johnson for his contributions and dedication to the band throughout the years. In other words, we're done with you, pal.
Yeah, you're out, Dick.
Yeah, you're gone. Thanks for all your help there, Pally.
Yeah, thanks for making us $1 billion, but get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, thanks for 40 years of service.
Yeah, thanks for putting us as the all-time best-selling album of all time. But now get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Ugh, horrible.
The group said in a statement, "We wish him all the best with his hearing issues and future ventures." How come his future doesn't include AC/DC?
Yeah. What do you think he's going to do? Start a solo career?
His future ventures.
He's 70. What do you think his future career? His future career is going into the home.
Right. It's going to be right next to
Malcolm.
Malcolm, yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, Malcolm won't know who he is.
Yeah. As much as we want this tour to end as it started, we understand, respect, and support Brian's decision to stop touring and save his hearing.
Doesn't sound like, to me, like I haven't seen one word of Brian saying, yeah, I stepped down.
Yeah. He just said, listen, I got a problem. I'm trying to fix this thing.
Why do I think the real reality here is that they said, Brian, we're going to pay you what you would have made on the tour if you just walk away and shut the fuck up. Don't you think that's what's going on here? They paid him out
after 40 years. Yeah, they're going to have to make some kind of a arrangement. I mean,
he's got to be a member, not a fucking hired gun.
Sure.
40 years. He's got a full-fledged member. Wouldn't that suck if it comes out that he's all this time he's been making $2,500 and all these tours he's been making $2,500 a week or something.
How good do you think Axl will sound singing "Play Ball"?
Oh, play ball. Let's Let's play ball. Wow, wow.
I.
I'm not going to lie. I am morbidly curious to hear this, but really YouTube will suffice.
Sure.
Yeah, I have no use to
do I need to go see Axl front, one member of AC/DC?
Especially for the cost of that show. I mean, that show's what, $150 a hit?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be able to get tickets, though, because people are going to fucking go get refunds on that. If they can. I wonder if they can.
I don't know.
Wow, would that suck a dick if you fucking hate Guns N' Roses and they fucking swap to him?
We are dedicated to fulfilling the remainder of our tour commitments to everyone that has supported us over the years, and we are fortunate that Axl Rose has kindly offered his support to help us fulfill this commitment.
How many members of the publicity team had to approve this press release?
Yeah, I know. It's just like he offered, and it's like I'm doing it gratis, man.
Yeah, just because I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I just wanna step in.
I want to help out because I'm a fan. So yeah, I'll come out and do it.
Sure.
What do you think he's making a night?
Let's see, what does AC/DC get in a night?
Got to be a $2 million or $1.5 million.
Yeah, I'm sure it's over $1 million.
Yeah.
So what's Axl getting coming in? 300,000 a performance.
Yeah.
Big chunk. I'm gonna say two.
I think 200,000.
200,000.
So he's gonna
times 10. So he's gonna make $1 million.
Times 20.
Oh, is there 20 shows?
European shows and the remake reschedules.
All right,
of the US
$2 million.
$2 million bucks. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's good cash if you can get it.
Yeah, I'm thinking 200 a show.
That's good coin if you can get it.
Yeah, sure.
For a guy that's and Axl's made it very clear he wants to retire. So, boy, this couldn't come at a better time for him.
Yeah,
it's nest egg time.
Yeah, I could see $2 million.
Oof. Are you done? Are you done with AC/DC now?
Well, what is there left?
You don't think they'll record an album with Axl?
I don't see that.
I'm going to bet you $20 right now.
Really? That you think that they'll do an Axl-fronted AC/DC record?
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Some sort of, I don't want to say record like 10 songs, but some sort of a release.
I just have a hard time seeing how that could fit.
If the shows go well, they'll go do it. Because Axl, this thing with GNR is not permanent. And that much is very clear. They're not going to all of a sudden say, okay, well, we're back and we're going to go do records and whatever.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm thinking, and again, this is, of course, we're just speculating, but I'm thinking that if AC/DC is going to continue on, and Brian is definitely out for good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that they're going to tap somebody who's very AC/DC-esque.
No chance.
You don't think?
Nope. No chance, because they'd have to take a step back financially.
Yeah, that is true.
They would have to step backwards financially.
You don't think the AC/DC name is enough to still command an X amount of dollars?
For a promoter? No way.
Really?
Fuck no.
Well, look at Bobby Blotzer and the Rat Name.
Look at Van Halen when they went to Sharon. They took a huge hit.
Yeah, of course.
But who knew? I mean, Sharon was popular at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he didn't. But he didn't. But
no name.
Yeah, but he didn't have the Van Halen sound, though.
He had the Van Hagar sound. I will argue that all day long. That the first single that they put out, that "Can't Stop Loving You" song, sounds just like a Sammy song.
Let's taking Van Halen for example. If they, and we talked about this before.
Yeah.
If Van Halen regrouped with, say things were still good with Michael Anthony.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's the original three, Michael Anthony, Eddie, and Alex. Mm-hmm. And they got And I know that they tried with that Mitch Malloy guy.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't really hear anything from that except for the scratch.
Yeah, the things he released, which sounded good.
But if they had gotten a guy, say like a Ralph Saenz, let's just use him, since he was doing the whole Van Halen, the Atomic Punks thing.
Yeah.
Do you still think that they would have taken a big hit?
Yes. For at least first time around until people heard it. Absolutely.
So you don't think that they could have done an arena at all?
I think it'd have been about 10, 12,000. I don't think that they'd have sold out the queue or.
So you think that AC/DC, they don't want to slip in profile?
They tour once every 5 to 8 years.
True.
They're not gonna go on a 2-year tour where the first round is to get the name reestablished.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go with a bit. Why do you think they're doing it this way? They could have got some guy for nothing.
True.
They could have got somebody to pay to do the gig.
Yeah, but the thing is that going with your logic about people getting refunds, I think this would, having Axl Rose having a star name would prevent people from backing out of the final dates that have already been scheduled.
Right, I agree. But I think the same thing, though. People don't want to hear new AC/DC singer. They don't want to hear Axl Rose either, but Axl is big enough to Axl is big enough. Axl Rose, whether you like him or hate him, has never taken a fucking downturn in audience.
True.
Ever. You know, he had Buckethead and all those fucking goofs that they had at the beginning. Brain and, remember they had they had like 15 guys and you didn't know who any of them were?
Sure.
And they still were selling out arenas. Or 15,000 seats.
Okay, so what was the secret behind that? Since the other four members weren't involved.
Axl's a huge star. He's iconic. Axl Rose. Look, I think Axl's a douche, but he is iconic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can say he's not. Whether you like him or you hate him, even if you hate him, you cannot deny that Axl Rose, if Axl Rose did a solo record, it would sell a shit ton. He did. He called it Guns N' Roses in Chinese Democracy. It's a fucking solo record. And it sold well, and they toured well with it. For years, they toured on it. And made a bunch of so, dude, I saw him at Rock on the Range, 40,000 people. And believe me when I tell you, it was me and about 20 people that left. Everybody else stayed. 40,000.
Well, is it the songs? Is it just Axl, or is it the name?
I think it's a little of both. I think if AC/DC did something with Axl, they'd have to play some Guns N' Roses.
Well, I think Bobby Blotzer proved that the name, there's a lot of value in name recognition.
Sure, my buddy.
Yeah. So, but the thing is he went out as Bobby Blotzer's Rat experience.
Right.
And couldn't command the money.
Right.
From the promoters, but then he decided to abscond with the Rat name.
Yeah.
And he was able to raise his asking price a lot higher.
Raise it. But he's not getting Stephen Warren Crucier money.
Yes, he is. He's getting the same money that they were getting as Rat.
Is he really?
He is. Rat was commanding $20,000, the Stephen era.
Yeah.
That's what Bobby's asking now.
I just can't see AC/DC with fucking some schmo.
No, I'm not going to say some schmo. Let's just say like Joel from Airborne.
That's some schmo to almost everybody except us. People don't know Airborne. We know Airborne.
Mm-hmm.
Average.
But here's my point. If AC/DC did a record, let's just use Joel from Airborne, for example.
Yeah, that's fine.
In order to do a run up to a tour, and how many people, and again, we're the exception to the rule here, and our fans.
Yeah.
how many know about the drama or the problems going on within the AC/DC camp with Brian Johnson being out? Your average fan, not the hardcores that listen to the show or you and me.
Probably not many.
Okay.
But they're certainly going to know that Axl Rose is in front of them.
True, but no, I'm trying to make a point here.
Okay.
So if AC/DC finished their tour using Axl, okay,
Yeah.
they tapped Joel from Airborne, recorded a record,
Okay.
classic AC/DC style record, and put it out for radio play.
Yeah.
And say it was a catchy song. It actually got some radio play.
Okay, let's play ball. Okay.
Well, let's say that they really pulled whatever resources they needed. Mutt Lang.
Yeah, Joel brought the energy and brought him back.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they got like a Mutt Lang.
Okay.
Okay, and he engineered a song that was ear candy.
Okay.
That's like classic Back in Black AC/DC. And it became a very sensational hit.
Okay.
Do you think AC/DC could go AC/DC's on tour regardless of who that front guy is?
I think that they would still lose because now that they've announced Axl Rose, and it is big news.
It is. I agree.
You know, I think that people would be like, well, I wanted to see it with Axl Rose.
But do you think
you're diminishing the value?
Yeah, I understand, but don't you think this is more of a novelty than, oh man, Axl Rose is now the lead singer of AC/DC permanent?
Yeah, but people don't. Again, people are not going to care. People don't look at it as deep as we do. All the average fucking knob jobber that knows Back in Black is going to fucking think is that. I guarantee you, dude. You know the guy that you work with at your office?
Yes.
I'll use him as an example.
Yes.
It's a knob jobber. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, he's unaware of changes
anything in rock.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ask him, he'll say, yeah, I heard Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, or the guy from Guns N' Roses is now the singer.
Sure.
Well, if you asked him a year later who the singer of AC/DC is, he's certainly not going to tell you it's Joel from Airborne.
True.
He's going to say, I thought it was Axl Rose. Well, that kind of sucks. Who's this guy?
Right.
You gotta maintain the same stature. That's what I'm saying. They've fucked themselves now. They either have to retire or stay with Axl. Or take a backward step, which they're not going to do.
Right.
You know, they're not going to step backwards, and they're not going to go and play the fucking Agora.
Sure.
You know, that's just not going to happen.
I agree. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hail and kill, boys. I'm on a bus.
You're on a bus?
I'm on a bus.
You're in a bus bathroom?
All right, what do you want, Tim?
No, I'm not in the bus bathroom. The bus doesn't have a bathroom. I was just basically, I'm about to try and tune into the show, but I was ringing to see if you guys are actually on because you weren't on last week.
Well, we're here, Tim. You're actually speaking to
All
us.
Right. Are you guys discussing AC/DC?
Yes, we are.
Well. So obviously you guys were discussing this. What do you reckon about the fact that who's gonna sing for them?
Axl Rose.
They just announced it.
Axl Rose. He's been announced.
Oh my God. Is that? Oh my God. That sucks.
Wow. So Chris, there you go. There's a hardcore right there that says it sucks.
I agree, but Tim is a hardcore fan.
Look, I like Guns N' Roses, and I'm going to go and see this tour if they come to Australia. But that's just shit. That's freaking horrible.
Don't disagree.
I can't believe they've just washed 40 years of legacy down the toilet.
Well, let me ask you something, Tim. Since you're such a hardcore, has AC/DC fucked themselves by allowing Axl Rose to join the band to finish out this tour? And is this what people are going to expect AC/DC to be from here on out?
I think they've destroyed their legacy in one fell swoop. You know, the band's always been about integrity, and all that kind of stuff, and they never went Hollywood and all that crap, and they've just gone with the most unpredictable Hollywood type guy. It's like getting Vince Neil. You know, it just completely goes against what the band's always been about, and I just think it's freaking horrible. And I wouldn't go for free.
One guy in the world says he's not going.
There you go. That's
absolutely. You know, if it's they should just. I mean, I could understand if it was Mark Sriracha from Crocus or Joel from Airborne, or you know, somebody like that. That's who they need. You know, but it's just freaking horrible. Anyway, I'll tune in. I'll probably call in a bit later. I've got to get off the bus. Helen Hill.
He's got to get off the bus.
Got to get off the bus.
The bus. All right. Well, there's a hardcore right there who's not happy about the Axl thing.
Right. Well, that's one. You know, that's one. And I agree with him. You know, I do agree that they're fucking their legacy. That's for damn sure. And again, that goes back to my point. Bring in another guy, they're fucked.
Well, I think the reason that they would use an Axl this time around is to keep people from, as you put it, demanding a refund.
Yeah.
Because this is enough of a draw or enough of a curiosity to say, you know what, it's not Brian Johnson, but, you know, it's Axl Rose. I got to stay and see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe.
But to say that Axl is going to be a permanent member and record, you know, EP or something, boy, that's tough to think.
Well, who would have thought he'd be the singer? If you want to go tough to think, 2 months ago, would you ever in a million years have guessed that Axl Rose was going to front AC/DC?
No, as a guess, no, I would have not guessed that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's such a fucking disaster. You know, the whole thing's a mess. But I honestly think that this is not short term. I can't imagine that they would just do this just for these fucking 10 shows and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only reason I say that is I look at bands like Judas Priest or Journey, which are the two or even Foreigner, replacing their main guy with somebody who sounds just like them.
Well, dude, this is uncharted water, though. You can't compare this to that.
Well, you can, because the thing is that AC/DC has a sound.
Yeah, but those bands were dead in the water. It didn't matter who they got because those bands were done. They were fucking over and came back because people loved the song.
Yeah, but
he's not over.
No, but they came back on the strength that they found somebody that can sing the songs just like people remember them.
Dude, this is literally the equivalent of somebody replacing Mick Jagger. It's literally on that level.
Yeah, but it's the thing is that Axl does not sound like Brian Johnson.
Right. Well, do you think that if the Rolling Stones, if Mick Jagger dropped dead today and they fucking brought out some guy, some 25-year-old guy that sounded like Mick Jagger, do you think they would just
No, because that's a little bit different.
Why?
Because Mick Jagger is the Stones.
Okay. And what, Angus is AC/DC?
He pretty much, yeah.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
I think probably a lot of fans will say that that's probably true, but I don't know. I mean, if you're going to go that level, most AC/DC fans will tell you that the band died with Bon Scott.
Yeah, but the thing is that they were fortunate enough to find a guy that was Bon Scott sounding to replace him when he died.
Yeah, but now that's so much older. That's the difference. Is, you know, they're not a 10-year-old band anymore.
I agree.
40 years ago.
I agree, but AC/DC was not at their height of popularity when they replaced Bon Scott.
Yeah, I know, but they are now.
They are now, but the thing is so is Journey. Journey was still a shed act.
And Journey's nowhere near as popular without Steve Perry. Come on.
But they're still selling sheds.
They're still selling a decent amount of tickets, but they'll sell. Dude, if they got Perry back, they would be doing these stadiums.
They would. I would agree with that. Yes.
That's the difference.
Which is the same reason that even though Don Dokken is fronting Dokken and John Levin shreds better than George Lynch.
Right.
That if it was the four originals with Don, Mick, Jeff, and George,
right, they're
going to do very well, especially in Japan.
All right. Well, we're gonna say that they bring in Ralph. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in Ralph into AC/DC. I'm not going to argue the point with you that they're going to play the Blossom Music Centers of the world, but they're not playing Cleveland Stadium.
No, they're not playing Cleveland Stadium. No, of course not.
So they have to take a step back.
Yeah, but the thing is that you would have to rebuild with if you think that you're going to continue on a long-term basis.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make that investment that one time around and really come out and prove something.
Unless you stay with the guy that's already huge. They will. If they disappear for 5 years and come back with Axl Rose singing, they will still play stadiums. Absolutely will still play stadiums. Axl Rose plays stadiums. AC/DC plays stadiums. Put them together, they're still playing stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have to take a pay cut. And when you're 65, 66 years old, you're not looking to start over.
I agree with that.
You're just looking to cash.
Sure.
And that's why they're doing it here. If it was about anything other than staying on top, then they would cancel these fucking 10 shows, issue the money back, go back in the studio and write something with somebody new. But it's not. It's only about money and stature.
I agree with that. And they probably already got half their guarantee on all these shows already.
I'm sure they did. But it's about staying at that level. AC/DC could pay back $10 million or whatever.
Yeah, but who wants to pay back $10 million?
When you're AC/DC and you're worth $1 billion, that's fucking like me giving you $1.
I understand, but regardless of that, who still wants to shell back $10 million when you could very easily go do the shows?
Yeah. And then when the shows are successful, what are you going to think? Okay, well, now we did it anyway this way, but we're going to still make a change and come back once around at a lower profile? No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah, it is a tough situation.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I will bet you whatever you want to bet here that they will stay with Axl if Axl wants to.
Mm-hmm.
The only way they don't stay with Axl is if Axl fucking says, all right, I did my 20, I'm out. And that could happen too, because those guys aren't going to put up with Axl's bullshit.
I agree with that as well.
You know, Axl going to want to fucking say, well, I'm not in the right mood yet. And they're going to be like, listen, fuckface, get out there on the stage.
This is our band and our legacy, not yours.
Yeah, get out there and sink the pink, fuckface.
Exactly. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Steve Wall here.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey, guys. Listen to your show. I'm thinking as far as these shows with AC/DC, Axl, I mean, what person can say that I was there at one of the final shows of AC/DC and Axl was singing? That's going to be a draw. 10 shows?
I think the 10 shows are going to stay sold out. They're already sold out.
They're already sold out. And then you're going to be one of the people that says, I was at the final AC/DC show with Axl, who actually showed up and sang. I think that's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be no problem.
I think it is the one thing I do think, though, that's different is I do think that it is a slightly different fan base. It's a slight, and not completely different, but the hardest of the hardcores that are willing to spend that money to go see AC/DC at $150, $200, $250 a pop are a generation older. And Axl Rose doesn't matter to them.
Good point. But at the same time, they can say, I actually saw them, their final shows, with that idiot who never shows up on time, Axl.
Well, hold on, Steve, because I got breaking news. On the other line right now, we've got the guy that saw Dave Evans with... Oh, never mind. There is such a guy.
Dave Evans, okay. But I don't know. I think that might be a draw. I mean, the people that are fascinated with seeing that idiot play. You know, I saw Guns N' Roses. I've never seen them live, but MTV back in '87, I saw them on TV. I'm like, wow, that's different. I bought their album. I'm like, okay, they're really kind of different. I was a fan. But I would never put up with this crap to sit there for hours waiting for them to come out and play. Never.
Yeah, they're hit or miss live. Sometimes they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them both ways. I've seen them be brilliant, and I've seen them suck, and I've walked. So,
yeah,
that's the Slash era. That's not the goofball era.
Yeah, for me, it was always Slash and Izzy that were the band. They were the guys that wrote the songs. I don't care about Axl at all. But people put up with it, and they, you know, like the Zeros the Chinese democracy thing. People still pay to see that guy.
Yeah, amazing. I'm gonna be honest. I saw those tours. I saw those tours. I think I saw it like 6 times. And no lie, really? Those shows were better than the original lineup GNR shows that I saw. All but one. I saw one that was absolutely brilliant, but
why are they better?
The clown shows were a lot better.
Well, why is that? Because he actually came out on time, or I mean, I didn't really study that, but
he sounded okay. He sounded pretty good, and his band was tighter. You know, most of that era of Guns N' Roses, people forget that they were a fucking mega drugged out band. And
they're drugged, yeah.
You know, and they would show up all fucked up and not be very good. You know.
Yeah, all right. And like I said, I've never seen them, but
yeah. Neely, you saw them in the day, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were they great, or were they just like?
No, they were a glorified garage band.
Yeah. Yeah, a garage band on a huge stage.
Get through the set before he collapses, and then the real band can come out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, you know, 2 things, 2 birds with 1 stone. The end of AC/DC with that idiot singing. I mean, I guess Axl's cool, but I'm not really that much of a fan. But an end of an era. Oh, yeah, anyway, hail and kill, guys.
Hail and kill.
Bye. Fuck you, pal.
Well job.
All right. Well, it's an interesting topic.
It is.
I guess we'll just see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess so. But like I said, I'm curious enough to watch a bunch of the YouTube videos, but I would not go. Would you go?
No.
Free ticket?
Free ticket? Yeah, I might go.
Might or would?
Might.
Not 100%?
No.
What would stop you?
Convenience.
Tuesday night. You would go on a Sunday, but not a Tuesday.
You know, I guess it would just depend. I don't know. Would I say, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going. Fuck that, yeah. I'm not that enthused about it.
Yeah. If somebody offered me a free ticket, I'm going.
I would have to say, much like you, we'll see how the YouTubes pan out.
Right. Mm-hmm. What about GNR? Free ticket going?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100% going.
100%. 100%, yeah.
All right. But not 100% to go see AC/DC with Axl.
Nah, the thing is, do I really want to hear Axl Rose sing Dirty Deeds?
Once. See, that's the whole thing. I'm going to be honest. I hope they put out a DVD of it, and I'm sure they will. I want to hear him doing I don't even care about Dirty Deeds. I want to hear him doing the real fucking awful songs. Fucking something from Black Ice.
Do you think that they would tailor their set for the more classic stuff, or do you think that they would stay with the current set?
They got to get rid of all this new stuff.
Do you think?
Yeah, they're not going to play Let's Play Ball.
That's my point. Do you think that? Yeah, no. They're going to play the more classic stuff, right?
They're only going to play hit. It's going to be a hits tour.
Yeah, sure.
Axl probably never even heard fucking Rock or Bust.
Right. That's why I was saying. Do you think that they would retailer their list?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's this question: Slash's sloppiness compared to Jimmy Page's sloppiness. What's the difference? Well, Jimmy was more of a rock player than Slash. Slash is more of a metal-y type of a player. I don't know. Slash is definitely sloppy. There's no doubt about that. I love both, but I think I've said that before. I don't see either of them in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
As far as like, if I could like put on a set of headphones and go, man, that's Slash, or man, that's Jimmy Page.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, I think they're recognizable. I just don't think that if I'm listing guitarists that I want to hear, that those two are in my top 5. Maybe it's because I've seen them both a dozen times.
Sure.
Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy do a rock set. Seems like every time I see Jimmy, he fucking plays some weird shit. It's either that fucking stupid Indian shit that he did with Robert Plant.
Right, Get the Let Out thing.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was.
He did that whole Middle Eastern influence shit.
Yeah, and then he played the Outrider tour, which was kind of odd, and I saw him with the Firm, and that was, rock, definitely rock, not metal. I'd like to see him do some Led Zeppelin, like Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really seen that since I saw Led Zeppelin, and I was 9.
Right.
So, I'd like to see Jimmy, actually do something.
Yeah, actually play like Jimmy.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I wish I would have seen those Black Crowes shows. That would have rocked.
With Jimmy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the Black Crowes just played fucking 2 discs worth of Zeppelin songs.
Right.
Those shows rip. Anyway, Axl Rose, new singer of AC/DC.
Yeah, currently. At least filling out the tour. We'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, we will see, won't we?
Yep. Bizarre.
Crazy.
All right, well, let's take a short break.
All right.
So I can get a refill.
Okay.
Speaking of Outrider.
Yeah.
What was that one song that they had on that? What was that hit song off that?
Jimmy.
Wasting My Time? I think it was Wasting My Time.
I think so. Yeah.
I actually kind of dug that song.
The singer from that band is like 165 years old.
Yeah, I know.
He's like some old. I was literally listening to Outrider this week because I was putting it on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up the singer because I was like, "Who's the singer for this band?" And I looked him up. His name is what is his name? Chris Farlow, and he's fucking 1,000,000 years old.
Mm-hmm. But that album isn't new either. That album is already 30-some years old.
Yeah, this guy was born in 1940.
All right. So what? That's
76.
All right. So minus 30. So he was in his 40s when he sung.
Yeah. Wasting My Time was the hit.
Yeah.
Got up to number 4.
Yeah.
Or I'll give you another option. You could play The Only One, which of course featured Robert Plant.
I want to hear Wasting My Time.
Fuck Robert Plant.
Nah, it's just that I remember when the song came out. It's been so long since I've heard it, but since you brought out Outrider, I thought, I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Are you playing 2 songs?
Sure.
All right. Do you have the Firm Mean Business?
Yeah. What are you looking for?
I am looking for Fortune Hunter.
Okay.
Nice rockin' tune.
All right, we'll do it.
All right, cool.
Couple Jimmy Page, right here on WCMS. Couple Jimmy Page tunes, a twin spin, if you will, coming your way.
We'll put some lead in your head.
Rocking your Saturday night.
That's right.
All right, well, here's Jimmy Page from his Outrider release. This is Wasting My Time, exclusively here
on K-Cunt.